Hello, English 5. This is LT2. And this is our Inference video. This is Rosa, Mark, and me, Irene. And we're here today to explain you our inference that we thought about between Black Death and The Lesson Before Dying. Let's do this. And
Do that.
don't make fun of me. And then
Inference is an educated guess or prediction about something or know based on facts or information.
How you guys doing? It's me, Mark. I'm going to give you guys one of the inferences in the lesson before dying right here. I got there's a book, and it's got that electric chair, old Sparky's on there. Because that's a big thing in a movie, or in a book, rather, what am I talking about? Okay, so in the lesson before dying, there's in the fourth chapter, there's a part where Jefferson, he gets picked up by Brother Bear or whatever, and they go to this bar to buy some watermelon wine or something like that. You know, it's not a good, you're driving anyways. So they do that, and sure enough, they try to pay for it, and the bartender, old Gropey or whatever he's called, is like, hey man, it's not enough money, what are you doing? I mean, I gotta make a living too. And so they're like, all right, fine. And they pull out a gun, they try to shoot the guy because he's not gonna give up you can't separate a man from his liquor, you know what I'm talking about? So they ended up shooting the guy, and the bartender, he's packing too, so he pulls out, he's like, bang, bang, kills both of them except for Jefferson, because there's two guys as well as Jefferson. And then the bartender is mortally wounded, so he dies anyways. So that happens, and sure enough, he's like freaking out. Jefferson's the only one alive, mind you. And so he's freaking out. He's like, oh my God, what's going to go, what's going to happen now? So he could call the police and tell them what's going on, but he's just like, you know what, I'll just drink some whiskey. For some reason, I don't know why he did it, but it was kind of a stupid idea. And so he's like walking away. He's about to leave, and then these two white folks walk in, and they're like, hey, why are these dead people on the ground? So then they, wrap them up and take them to prison, and that's how everything went down the way it is. They inferred that Jefferson was the one that shot the white guy and everything, and he's trying to steal liquor because he's got a bottle of whiskey in his hand. I mean, it's just a dumb situation.
Now,
So today I'm going to be talking about Black Death, a short story written by Zora Neale Hurston. And basically we're going to start off with this short little quote. He who only sees with his eyes is very blind. Because in the story is about a voodoo doctor and a group of people in a little village, so word gets around quickly about, all of these things that have been happening is because of the witch doctor, Mr. Morgan. Which really isn't true. He's been causing a lot of injuries, but the only death he's really caused is the one with his competitor, the other witch doctor, which was in town. But he ran her out of town, and she ended up dying. But that was the only person he killed so far. So as the story goes on, there's one of the main characters, Cora, and her mother, whose name I do not remember right now, but I'll get back to you guys about that. But Cora's pregnant by a guy named Beau. And Beau, he's kind of a stuck-up, he has a lot of pride, oh, I'm better than you, you're just here, and I don't need you, so. The conversation that Beau, Cora, and her mother had just didn't go too well. Beau was like, I don't want her, I'm not marrying her, so goodbye, good day, I'm leaving. Like the player in quotation marks, he is. So Cora, as I read the story, I really didn't think she was the person to go to a witch doctor. So when she finally started going outside, running, and then we started hearing, oh, she's going towards the witch doctor, going past the cemetery, and things are touching her, unknown spirits. And I'm like, okay, is she really going to the witch doctor Morgan? So when she finally enters, and we know that she's finally in his house, and I'm like, is she really in his house? So then Cora explains, before she even opened her mouth, he's like, how do you want to kill him? And I'm like, what? Is she really there to kill him? So he says, chew this, spit in the bowl, and it'll tell you what you want to do. So the weapon of choice was a gun. So the witch doctor Morgan, he gives her a glass, which has a picture of Beau, well, it's not a picture, an apparition, whatever you want to call it. But it's not really Beau, it's just whatever, it looks like Beau. So he says, just aim the gun into the mirror. You just have one shot, so make sure when you shoot, it's perfect. So of course, Cora being heartbroken, where else would she shoot Bo but in the heart? So the following day, Bo was with one of his other mistresses, and Cora comes up, and I guess it was there were a crowd of people, and they were all talking. And all of a sudden, Bo gets, like, it looks like a cigarette burn right above his heart, and he just drops. And no, everyone thinks, okay, he died of normal causes, but we're going to come back to the quote. He who only sees with his eyes is very blind. The police and the coroner's office, they were all oblivious to what was really going on in the village. But the people of the natives and the community, they knew, hey, something sticky went wrong, which was with the witch doctor, Mr. Morgan, and the story just blew my mind because I never thought Cora would be that type of person to go to Mr. Morgan. So that's my take on the short story Black Death. Hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something from me. So thanks.
And the similarities between Black Death and Lesson Before Dying is the quote from Black Death that says, "He who only sees with his eyes is very blind." And in chapter 1 of Lesson Before Dying, the two white guys walk in and see Jefferson standing there, and there's blood all over the place, and there's a shootout, and white man's dead. So they infer that Jefferson was the one to kill him, even though he really wasn't, but he was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Okay, and in Black Death, to go back to he who only sees with his eyes is very blind. As I read the story, I'm not sure if all of you guys got the same outlook as I did, but I didn't really see Cora as the person to go to a witch doctor to seek help in killing someone who she loved and thought she would marry. But guess it happened, and the coroner and the police, they were all oblivious, once again, like I said in the beginning, to what was really going on. But the people in the community, they all knew what was really going on. So I guess that's how we can bring the two together.
And that's our presentation on Inference.